Okay, so in this video, I'm going to explain to you what is the quadratic formula. So given ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0, the quadratic formula says that you can actually find the value of x by applying this formula. Okay, this is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So as you can see, these values b, a, and c are just coming from the given quadratic equation, given that the other side is equal to 0. Okay, now remember that when we solve quadratic equations, there are ways to find the value of x, and one way is to factor the expression. For instance, if we want to solve the quadratic equation x squared plus 4x plus 3, then one can apply factoring, and this will be x plus 3 and then x plus 1. And then you check if the factors are correct, and if it's correct, then all you have to do is to equate the factors to 0. X plus 1 equal to 0, and x here is negative 3, it's negative 3, and then x here is negative 1. Okay, so that's how you solve a quadratic equation. Now sometimes factoring is not as easy as for some expressions. For example, if I have 20x squared minus 13x plus, say, 17 is equal to 0. So as you can see, the factors that you need to have for 20x squared minus 13x plus 17 is not too obvious anymore. And it's even possible that you cannot even factor this expression. So does that mean that there is no solution to this equation? Well, the answer is no. Okay, because there is a solution to this equation. It's just that the factoring method will somehow fail to find the solution to this equation. So hence, if you encounter such difficulty, now that is the best time for you to use what we call the quadratic formula. And in the quadratic formula, if you try to look at it, the value of x, the one that we are solving, can be obtained by placing negative b plus and minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac and all over 2a. So basically, just put in the numbers that you need in the formula and you will get the right solution to your equation. Okay. Now there are, again, a possibility that there's even no solution. Okay, but I'll show you how the formula is applied. Okay. So let's see. Okay, so let's go back to 20x squared minus 13x plus 17 equal to 0. So make sure that, so before we apply the quadratic formula, there are things that you have to ensure. The other side is equal to 0. It could be on the left, it could be on the right, it doesn't matter. What is important is the other side is equal to 0. The next thing you have to check is, are the terms arranged in descending order? When you say descending order, from the highest degree to the constant value or the lowest power. So as we can see, it's x squared, x, and a constant. So it is decreasing in terms of power, so this means this is in proper order. Okay, so once you have checked those two things, it's time for you to get the value of a. In this case, it's 20. The value of b, which is negative 13. And then the value of c, which is equal to 17. And then all you have to do, go back to your formula. The formula says that the value of x is the negative of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And that means if we have b as negative 13, so negative of negative 13 plus and minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, so b is negative 13. Now I will suggest that when you place the numbers for the ABC, you have to use a parenthesis, because it is very crucial for negative numbers, especially if you will be doing this in a calculator. Okay, so a negative 13 squared is not the same as a negative 13 squared, wherein this is a positive number, this is a negative number. If you plug this in the calculator, it will give you a different value. Okay, so when I place the numbers inside the formula, so I pay attention to the negative sign. So negative 13 gets squared minus 4, my A is 20 and my C is 17. Okay, so this is times 17. Now all over, so divided by 2 times the A, which is 20. Okay, so from here, so let me erase this part. So from here, all you have to do is to simplify what you obtain. Now, this is very crucial, okay? We hope that this value is a positive number, okay, because it is a square root. Otherwise, there will be no solution to this equation, okay? So, we have x is equal to negative of negative 13 is positive 13 plus and minus the square root. 13 squared is equal to 169, and then minus, so 4 times 20 times 17 is equal to 1360, and from here we could already see that there is no solution to this equation, okay, because the one inside will be a negative number. Okay, but what I'm saying is this is how you apply the quadratic formula. All you have to do is to place the numbers A, B, and C in the formula, simplify it properly, and you will get the value. Okay, now to connect that, so in this case there is no solution to the equation, but I want you to see how it is properly applied and we will get a solution. So in this case there is no solution. Why? Because this will end up as a negative number, and the square root of a negative number does not exist in the set of real numbers. Okay, now to make sense of this, because I didn't want you to have an equation with no solution, let's go back to my first example. My first example was x squared plus 4x plus 3. Okay, and I'll show you. We already know that x will be equal to negative 3 and x is equal to negative 1. So by using the quadratic formula, we will test whether these solutions are correct. Okay, so although you will use it to really find the solutions. Okay, so again, x is equal to the negative of b. Let's copy the formula first so that you will see how it will be transformed with numbers. So pay attention to your a. Your a is 1. Okay, you don't see it there, but it's 1. Your b is 4. Your c is 3. Okay, you can write that down. A is 1, b is 4, and then c is equal to 3. Okay, and what you have to do, carefully place that in those numbers in the formula. X will be negative of b, negative of 4, plus minus. B squared means 4 squared. Notice how I did not use a parenthesis because this is a positive number, so it will be okay. 4 times A is 1, and then C is 3. Okay, I use parenthesis to denote multiplication. Okay, and then 2 times A, so 2 times the A, which is 1. And then we're ready to simplify. Negative 4 will stay as negative 4, plus and minus the square root of 4 squared, 16. 4 times 1 times 3 is 12, divided by 2. And then you have negative 4 plus or minus 16 minus 12 is 4 over 2. And then continue, just continue simplifying. Square root of 4 is 2, so over 2. Now this is how you interpret what is plus and minus. A plus and minus means one is a plus and one is a minus. So negative 4 plus 2 over 2, or it's a negative 4 minus 2 over 2. And negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2 divided by 2, and that's exactly the negative 1. Negative 4 minus 2 is negative 6 over 2, and that's exactly the negative 3. Hence, there are two values for the value of x. Okay, so as you can see, we have shown that the solutions for this is really x equals negative 3 and x equals negative 1. We have shown that, or we have solved those solutions through factoring, and we have shown as well how to get them using the quadratic formula. Okay, so again, if you can factor the expression, you factor it, that will be easy. And then if you cannot find the factors of the expression, then you have another option that you can use is a quadratic formula. Well, actually, the good thing about the quadratic formula is that it can be applied to a complicated quadratic equation, to a simple quadratic equation. Okay, you can apply it to any quadratic equation. So as long as you follow the right procedure, the right process, then you will be okay. Okay, so I hope you do, or you understand now the idea of the quadratic formula and how it is being used to find the solutions of a quadratic equation. Okay, that's it.